Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. US President Donald Trump warns Hamas to release hostages or face destruction as the White House holds unprecedented secret talks for Gaza hostages. Piling pressure on Ukraine's Zelensky for peace deal, US cuts intelligence sharing for Kyiv. EU leaders set to meet for a special summit on defense and Ukraine on Thursday. Ukraine's President Zelensky also invited. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaffirms India's stance on Kashmir, call for return of stolen part from Pakistan. And in sports, New Zealand outclassed South Africa in Champions Trophy semi-final to set up summit clash against India on Sunday. Our top story, US President Donald Trump has issued a stern ultimatum to Hamas leaders, warning of further destruction in Gaza if all remaining hostages are not released immediately. In a statement on his Truth Social platform, Trump threatened repercussions for Gaza's population, which has been largely displaced by Israel's military campaign. This comes as a ceasefire theaters, with Israel seeking to extend the first phase until mid-April, and Hamas pushing for a transition to the second phase, which would lead to a permanent end to the war. France, Britain and Germany have condemned the humanitarian situation in Gaza as catastrophic, urging Israel to ensure the delivery of aid. The US has also confirmed direct talks with Hamas, with the US envoy on hostage affairs discussing American hostages. Trump's proposal to take over the Gaza Strip has been met with widespread condemnation, while Arab leaders have proposed an alternative plan to finance Gaza's reconstruction through a trust fund. And European nations have unequivocally stated that Hamas must be stripped of its governing role in the Gaza Strip. This declaration came after a UN Security Council meeting where Arab countries' plan to rebuild Gaza was discussed. The plan is seen as a counter to US President Donald Trump's proposal for US control and resettlement of Gaza's residents. French diplomat J. Dharmadhikari emphasized that any future plan must ensure Israel's security, prevent Palestinian displacement and support unity under the Palestinian Authority. European nations have expressed support for these plans, with Dharmadhikari urging Israel to allow massive humanitarian aid deliveries, citing this as non-negotiable. Israel has blocked aid deliveries until Hamas accepts its truce terms. And as Egypt unveiled the Gaza reconstruction plan on Tuesday while hosting an Arab League summit in Cairo, Israel and the US rejected the proposal, while the Palestinian militant group Hamas welcomed it. Hamas, in a statement, welcomed the Arab proposal to rebuild the Gaza Strip under a future Palestinian Authority administration, while the Trump administration rejected the plan, claiming that it does not address the reality that Gaza is currently inhabitable. The National Security Council spokesperson said President Donald Trump stands by his plan to rebuild Gaza. Moreover, Israel also rejected Egypt's plan, saying that it failed to address realities, and accused the PA and the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, of corruption and support for terrorism. The plan consists of three major stages, including interim measures, reconstruction and governance. The first stage would last about 6 months. However, the other two phases would take place over a combined 4 to 5 years. All right, we'll go across to DD India's Akshay Dongre. He has more information on this. Good morning, Akshay. US President Donald Trump has issued a stern ultimatum to Hamas leaders after White House confirmed that it held direct talks with Hamas. Fill us in with more details.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek. In fact, the number of hostages that is reported to be alive still in Gaza under the authority of Hamas is about 24 hostages, and that besides the living hostages, the hostages that are alive, there are about 35 bodies of hostages as well that is still being held by Hamas as far as this negotiation and these exchange of hostages are concerned, and perhaps that's the reason why the U.S. authorities are calling Hamas sick, calling that how can they be keeping the bodies of the dead as far as their custody is concerned in exchange for hostages that they want to negotiate with Israel. So clearly we have seen that the strategies of Donald Trump have been very, very different from his predecessors. In fact, we are looking at a possibly win for Donald Trump as far as the rebuilding of Gaza is concerned, because there were questions being asked that who is going to rebuild Gaza, and after Donald Trump announced that it wants to take over and U.S. authority to be deployed in Gaza. All the Middle Eastern countries have come together to announce a trust fund for rebuilding of the Gaza Strip, which has in fact essentially solved one of the problems which could have fallen as far as responsibilities of rebuilding Gaza is concerned on the U.S. hands. These can be strategies as far as the announcements by Donald Trump is concerned, but they can, from what it seems right now, from the face value, they seem like a direct warning to the Hamas leadership that if they do not return the hostages and the bodies of the hostages soon, then they will be wiped out. There will be resumptions of actions, and US will be directly involved as far as this action is concerned. So clearly, it remains to be seen that how Hamas is going to respond to it, whether things will be split up. But from what it seems, Donald Trump and the Trump administration they're running out of patience, perhaps, as far as this deal is concerned. Back to you.
Right, Akshay, release hostages or face total destruction. And Trump's message, Akshay, has drawn both support and controversy amid escalating hostilities. Tell us, how have been the reactions to Trump's firm stance?
Well, as far as the Arab countries are concerned, clearly they have rejected the takeover of Gaza by U.S. Government and rebuilding it, as Rivera of the West, as Rivera of the East for the U.S. as he has been saying, and they have in fact come up with their own strategy. But when it comes to the Middle Eastern countries, many of them are very, very strong U.S. allies. For example, Jordan, there is Saudi Arabia. So not a lot of sharp reactions were anyway expected as far as these announcements are concerned. But as of now, what we are seeing is that perhaps the Arab nations rallying to put their own stance in front of US together as well.
All right, Akshay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. United States has cut off intelligence sharing with Ukraine, a move that could cripple Kyiv's ability to target Russian forces. CIA Director John Ratcliffe confirmed the decision on Wednesday, marking a significant shift in U.S. policy. The move underscores the Trump administration's hardball strategy, using military aid and intelligence as leverage to pressure Ukraine into negotiations. U.S. President Trump revealed on Tuesday that he had received a letter from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky signaling Kyiv's willingness to engage in peace talks. Since 2022, U.S. intelligence has been vital to Ukraine's battlefield strategy. And the U.S. may resume funding for Ukraine, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced on Wednesday as talks over a minerals deal continue. This follows President Trump's decision to halt military aid on Monday after a tense clash with Ukrainian President Zelensky.
I believe what the National Security Council told me in regards to that was that they paused or they are reconsidering the funding for Ukraine.
And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday announced positive movement in talks with Washington, hinting at a potential high-level meeting soon. Kyiv is urgently working to mend ties with its most crucial military ally after last week's tense clash between Zelensky and President Trump at the White House over how to end the conflict. Ukrainian Chief of Staff Andriy Yermak and U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz have already begun discussions. Zelensky hopes for concrete progress by next week. However, this development comes just hours after CIA Director John Ratcliffe confirmed the U.S. had paused intelligence sharing with Ukraine, raising questions about America's shifting stance. Now, the Dutch government will reserve $3.8 billion to continue its support for Ukraine in 2026. Netherlands Prime Minister Dick Schoof said the funds would ensure Dutch support to the region, adding that the money could also be used in 2025 if necessary. The previous Dutch government had already earmarked a comparable sum for support through 2025. The Netherlands has been a steadfast supporter of Ukraine with a focus on military aid, criminal investigations and reconstruction efforts. And European Union leaders will convene on Thursday for a special European Council summit focused on European defence and continued support for Ukraine. In a statement on Wednesday, the European Council said that leaders will assess how the EU can further assist Ukraine and establish principles for future actions. Discussions will also cover European contributions to security guarantees aimed at ensuring lasting peace in Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has been invited to participate in the meeting. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has proposed a plan to mobilize $844 billion for European defence, a topic likely to be discussed at the summit. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday announced he would discuss extending France's nuclear deterrent to European partners and raise the possibility of sending European troops to Ukraine to enforce a peace deal. Speaking in a televised address to the nation, the French president said European military forces could be sent to Ukraine if a peace deal is signed to ensure that Russia does not attack its neighbor again. He further said that Europe must be prepared to go it alone in defending Ukraine with or without further assistance from the United States.
Dès la semaine prochaine, nous réunirons à Paris.
As soon as next week, we will gather in Paris army chiefs who wish to take their responsibility in this matter. And so this is a plan for a solid, lasting, verifiable peace which we have prepared with the Ukrainians and several European partners, and which I defended in the United States 2 weeks ago and across Europe. And I would like to believe that the United States will stay by our side, but we have to be ready if this isn't the case.
All right, still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. US grants 1-month tariff exemption for automakers after talks with Ford, GM and Stellantis. Malala Yousafzai returns to hometown in Pakistan 13 years after surviving Taliban attack. And power outage strikes Buenos Aires amid heat wave, leaving over 600,000 without electricity.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. The United States on Wednesday granted a 1-month exemption on its new tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada for US automakers. The pause comes after Trump spoke with leaders of the big three automakers, Ford, General Motors and Stellantis on Wednesday. The White House said Trump is also open to hearing about other products that should be exempted from the tariffs which took effect on Tuesday.
We spoke with the big three auto dealers. We are going to give a 1-month exemption on any autos coming through USMCA. Reciprocal tariffs will still go into effect on April 2nd, but at the request of the companies associated with USMCA, the president is giving them an exemption for 1 month so they are not at an economic disadvantage. So the three companies that he spoke to are Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors. They requested the call, they made the ask, and the president is happy to do it. It's a 1-month exemption.
And Wall Street stocks rallied after the announcement, with shares of the three automakers each surging about 6% or more. The American Automotive Policy Council said it applauded Trump's move. US President Donald Trump accused Canadian leader Justin Trudeau of playing up a Canada-US trade war to cling to power after they spoke on phone on Wednesday. Trump, in a social media post, said that Prime Minister Trudeau was unable to tell him when the Canadian election is taking place, which made him curious. Trump further wrote that he then realized that Trudeau is trying to use this issue to stay in power. Trump again took a dig at the Canadian leader, calling him Governor Trudeau and accusing his administration's weak border policies of allowing tremendous amounts of fentanyl and illegal immigrants into the US. He also said the call with Trudeau ended in a somewhat friendly manner. Trudeau and Trump have had a fractious relationship since Trump's return to the White House in January, as the pair sparred over trade and fentanyl trafficking. During his first presidential address to Congress since returning to the White House for a second term, US President Donald Trump hailed US asset management from BlackRock for buying 2 Panama Canal ports amid his effort at reclaiming the canal. BlackRock has agreed to buy the ports from their Hong Kong-based owner C.K. Hutchison as part of a $22.8 billion deal after facing pressure from Donald Trump over alleged Chinese influence over the crucial waterway. The deal will allow the U.S. consortium control of the major ports of the canal. Following the announcement, C.K. Hutchison stock soared nearly 25% on the first trading day. Meanwhile, reacting to Donald Trump's reclaiming Panama Canal claims, Panamanian President Jose Raul Molino said on Wednesday that Trump was lying when he said that the North American leader's administration was reclaiming the Panama Canal. Trump's comments to Congress came after the deal led by U.S. firm BlackRock was announced. The deal will give the U.S. consortium control of key Panama Canal ports amid White House calls to remove them from Chinese ownership. But it also risks heightening tensions between the U.S. and Panama, which have tussled over Trump's claims about the canal. Molino on Wednesday said that Trump's so-called reclaiming of the canal had not been part of discussions with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in a recent visit or with any other U.S. official. And the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is facing intense backlash over plans to slash its workforce by over 80,000 employees. The proposed cuts aimed at returning the agency to its 2019 staffing levels have drawn fierce criticism from military veteran groups and Democrats. A memo from Veteran Affairs Chief of Staff Christopher Sy Reck instructed senior officials to collaborate with the Elon Musk Department of Government Efficiency to implement the reductions. The stated objectives are to eliminate waste and boost workforce efficiency. However, the scale of the planned layoffs has raised concerns about the agency's ability to provide essential services to military veterans. And outside Greek Parliament, police dispersed a large demonstration with tear gas and stun grenades after protesters set fire to bins and threw firebombs. The country has been facing unrest since the recent anniversary of the country's worst rail tragedy in 2023. Opposition parties have submitted a motion to trigger a no-confidence vote against the government over its handling of the disaster. The government is facing intense pressure to respond to the concerns of its citizens. Moving on, a power failure in Buenos Aires left hundreds of thousands of customers without electricity, shutting off traffic lights stranding subway passengers and testing the Argentine capital's electric grid for the second time in 24 hours during a sizzling summer heat wave. The blackout began Wednesday at 12:40 p.m. with the sudden failure of a high-voltage power line and hit over 622,000 customers mere hours after officials had restored service from an early morning outage, the Secretariat of Energy said. The power failure coming as the heat wave ramped up electricity usage and strained the city's power supply, knocked several substations offline, according to Iresu, an electricity company in Argentina that serves parts of Buenos Aires and its suburbs. It said its technicians were racing to restore power. The heat index, which takes humidity into account, climbed to 42 degrees Celsius on Wednesday. Municipal authorities reported that the outage suspended subway service on all lines in both directions and darkened 50 stoplights, causing chaos in central and southern Buenos Aires that forced the deployment of hundreds of traffic cops. And a shocking incident of mass looting has unfolded in Bangladesh's Sunamganj district, where thousands of people have stolen fish worth approximately 4 crore in Bangladesh currency taka from water bodies known as beels. The looting, which began last Friday, has continued unabated, with locals arriving in large numbers to plunder the fish. Leaseholders claim that at least 8 beels have been targeted, with public announcements over loudspeakers seemingly inciting the looting. The incident has exposed a deep-seated dispute between local influential people and fishermen's associations over the lease of the beels. Despite police presence, the looting has continued, with authorities only now promising to take action. Sunamganj Additional Superintendent of Police Zakir Hussain has vowed to identify and bring the perpetrators to justice. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate and education activist Malala Yousafzai returned to her Pakistan home village on Wednesday, 13 years after surviving an assassination attempt by militants. Yousafzai was a 15-year-old schoolgirl when Pakistan Taliban militants boarded a bus and shot her in the head in the remote Swat Valley near the Afghanistan border. She has made rare visits to the valley since, but it was the first time she returned to her childhood home in Shangla since being evacuated to the United Kingdom after the attack. Now, South Carolina court clears way for first execution by firing squad in 15 years. South Carolina death row inmate Brad Sigmund will be the first prisoner in the U.S. in 15 years to die by firing squad on Friday. Sigmund was sentenced to death for the 2001 baseball bat killings of his ex-girlfriend Rebecca Barber's parents at their home in Greenville County. The lack of that possibility and no access to information forced Sigmund to choose the firing squad because he was afraid that the electric chair and lethal injection would not result in his immediate death. The only hope for Sigmund is now South Carolina's Republican Governor Henry McMaster, who could commute his death sentence to life in prison. All right, time now for some weather updates. Fierce wintry conditions hit Kansas, setting off tough blizzard conditions. Authorities have urged residents to take precautions and avoid traveling. The weather authorities have issued a blizzard warning for various areas in east central and northeast Kansas. Footage showed a street light shaking in the wind as snow blew heavily during a blizzard in Lenexa, Kansas. Temperatures are expected to dip even further, with wind chills predicted to be 12 to 25 degrees below normal. And a severe snowstorm has brought Iowa to a standstill, with vehicles stranded on roads and highways across the state. Heavy snowfall and strong winds have created hazardous driving conditions, making it difficult for snow plows to clear the roads. The Iowa authorities has issued a travel warning advising drivers to stay off the roads due to numerous impassable roads caused by stranded and crashed vehicles. The severe weather has also caused power outages, with thousands of households left without electricity. Residents are advised to stay indoors and avoid travel unless absolutely necessary. And the outer fringe of a tropical cyclone started whipping eastern Australia on Thursday, bringing drenching rains and record-breaking waves to a heavily populated region rarely hit by typhoons. Tropical cyclone Alfred was 180 miles east of busy Brisbane city after unexpectedly slowing above the Coral Sea overnight. It would be the first cyclone to make landfall in the area for more than 50 years. Researchers have repeatedly warned that climate change amplifies the risk of natural disasters such as bushfires, floods and cyclones. And fires ravaged northern Mexico state of Nuevo Leon. The region has registered over 239 fires as of Tuesday. The blazes, largely confined to vacant areas, have damaged electricity towers and severely impacted air quality. A cold front combined with dry conditions created a perfect storm for the fires to spread. No fatalities have been reported, but the situation remains dire. Authorities are working to contain the fires and restore normalcy to the region. Intense rains has caused severe flooding in Manaus, Brazil, with streets and houses underwater. This isn't the first time the city has experienced flooding, as it's located in the Amazonas state, which is prone to the heavy rainfall. The flooding has also caused damage to homes, with some collapsing or deemed at risk. In one instance, around 130 houses were deemed unsafe, forcing dozens of families to evacuate. The city's infrastructure has been impacted, with streets and avenues flooded and access to markets and other areas restricted. Now, the first commercial mission of Europe's new heavy lift rocket Ariane 6 has been rescheduled for today. French company Arianespace announced after an anomaly forced a last-minute postponement. The already twice delayed rocket was slated to lift off Monday but had to be delayed after the discovery of a dysfunctional valve. The high-profile mission aims to carry a French military satellite into orbit, as well as more broadly to establish independent European access to space without reliance on either the United States or Russia. It comes as Europe's commercial space industry struggles to remain competitive in the face of Elon Musk's SpaceX. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Stella McCartney's Winter 2025 runway featured feminine lineup of power suits with low-waisted trousers, broad-shouldered jackets and glittery evening wear. Guests including Brigitte Macron, Cameron Diaz and Tom Ford were welcomed on an upper floor with a sweeping view of the outskirts of Paris. The show was focused on exotic dancing. Two beavers from Scotland were reintroduced into the English wild for the first time in centuries on Wednesday. The reintroduction of the beavers is viewed as crucial for revitalizing rivers and wetlands, addressing environmental challenges and meeting national biodiversity objectives. And the National Gallery in London invited visitors to step into the world of early 14th century art with its exhibition Siena, The Rise of Painting 1300 to 1350. The show presents a fascinating collection of masterpieces from Siena, offering a glimpse into a pivotal moment in art history. And floating high above the London skyline in one of the most famous creations, the London Eye is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. It has become an integral part of London's skyline and a beloved symbol of the city. Designed by architect Julia Barfield, the London Eye was opened to the public in the year 2000. All right, still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Japan-India business delegation called on PM Modi and discussed manufacturing and skill development. Sri Lanka Navy and Indian naval ship crew join yoga session in Colombo, strengthening maritime cooperation. And DD India highlights the importance of women's health in conversation with leading gynecologists ahead of International Women's Day.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we have done so far. US President Donald Trump warns Hamas to release hostages or face destruction as the White House holds unprecedented secret talks for Gaza hostages. Piling pressure on Ukraine, Zelensky for peace deal. US cuts intelligence sharing for Kyiv. EU leaders set to meet for a special summit on defense and Ukraine on Thursday. Ukraine's President Zelensky also invited. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reaffirms India's stance on Kashmir, calls for return of stolen part from Pakistan. And in sports, New Zealand outclassed South Africa in Champions Trophy semi-final to set up summit clash against India on Sunday. Some other stories: with an aim to promote religious tourism and boost the local economy, homestays, tourism businesses, among others, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Uttarakhand today. The visit will commence with Prime Minister performing rituals at the winter seat of Ma Ganga in Mukhwa. The Prime Minister's itinerary includes flagging off a trek and bike rally and addressing a public gathering in Harsil. This initiative is part of the Uttarakhand government's newly launched winter tourism program, which has already attracted thousands of devotees to the region's winter seats, including Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath and Badrinath. And the Union Cabinet headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday approved the construction of ropeways at Kedarnath and Hemkund Sahib in Uttarakhand in a move that will significantly cut travel time to the two popular pilgrimage sites. The ropeway is planned to be developed in a public-private partnership and will be based on the most advanced tri-cable detachable gondola technology with a design capacity of carrying 18,000 passengers per day. The ropeway project will be a boon to the pilgrims visiting Kedarnath, as it would provide an environment-friendly, comfortable and fast connectivity and reduce travel time in one direction from about 8 to 9 hours to about 36 minutes. The development of ropeway project is a significant step towards fostering balanced socio-economic development, enhancing last-mile connectivity in hilly regions and fostering rapid economic growth. Now, a delegation from the Japan-India Business Cooperation Committee comprising 17 members and led by its chairman Tatsuo Yasunaga called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The delegation included senior leaders from leading Japanese corporate houses across key sectors such as manufacturing, banking, airlines, pharma sector, plant engineering and logistics. The discussions covered key areas including high-quality, low-cost manufacturing in India, expanding manufacturing for global markets with a special focus on Africa, and enhancing human resource development and exchanges. Prime Minister expressed his appreciation for Japanese business expansion plans in India and their steadfast commitment to Make in India, Make for the World. Prime Minister also highlighted the importance of enhanced cooperation in skill development, which remains a key pillar of India-Japan bilateral ties. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Wednesday spoke about steps taken by the government for development in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Responding to a question from a member of the audience at the Chatham House in London, Jaishankar said that India is waiting for the return of the stolen part of Kashmir, which is under illegal Pakistani occupation.
Look, on Kashmir, actually we have done, I think, a good job solving most of it. I think removing Article 370 was step number one. Then restoring growth and economic activity and social justice in Kashmir was step number two. holding elections, which were done with a very high turnout, was step number 3. I think the part we are waiting for is the return of the stolen part of Kashmir, which is on the under illegal Pakistani occupation. When that's done, I assure you, Kashmir solved.
And as we approach International Women's Day, DD India is celebrating the achievements of women across various fields. Women's health remains a crucial aspect of empowerment, and to shed light on key challenges and solutions, DD India correspondent Kriti Vadhera spoke to a leading gynecologist. Take a listen.
This Women's Day, as we celebrate the inspiring stories of strength of the women, joining us today is Dr. Anjali Taneja, a leading gynecologist. I welcome you, Dr. Taneja, on DD India. First, to begin with, I want to know what was your success mantra of your career?
Hard work, consistency, taking challenges head on as they came, and never lose, get up and fight back.
So over a period of time, we have seen that there's a lot of awareness in terms of health, if we talk about health amongst women. How do you see this awareness?
There's definitely the awareness has increased. The females are much more focused about how they manage themselves during their journey, starting from puberty till menopause and later. Girls are more aware in adolescence. The more number of patients have started coming from cervical cancer vaccination. There is awareness about pap smear. There is awareness about how your period should start. That, like, many patients are getting their periods early, so mothers are concerned about their girls. And then every issues, a lot of pubertal issues or sexual health issues are not rushed below they're not pushed below the doormat anymore. So people have become more open about talking their concerns, and their self-awareness also, courtesy social media. People are now getting access to information more easily.
Doctor, you spoke about the positive aspects of this awareness on social media and media. So are there also any negative impacts we talk about, or which women have to take care of?
On social media, there are a lot of influencers, a lot of people talking about every domain of health. Probably people who are not qualified enough or who have not done their research enough to say on a particular subject. So every advice should not be accepted blindly. Take it with a pinch of salt. Do your own research. Check with your doctor whom you trust.
What would be your key advice to maybe the budding doctors who want to come for this career, maybe pursuing gynecology?
So any young girl or boys who want to be gynacs, please remember it's a branch which wants you to work day and night throughout your life. So there is no shortcut to it. It is a demanding branch. You are simultaneously dealing with 2 lives, and you are dealing with a female who the first contact in India comes largely when the patient is pregnant. So that is an emotional journey for the female, for the family. So you are connected to your patients emotionally, you are connected to them medically.
So this was Dr. Anjali Taneja telling us how we can empower ourselves in terms of health. With camera person Mohit Joshi, I am Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
And personnel from Sri Lanka Navy participated in a yoga session at the Colombo port alongside the crew of Indian naval ship Kutar. Indian naval ship Kutar, a cookery class corvette, is in Colombo port for a 3-day visit. During the visit, the ship has handed over a refilled firefighting system cylinder for Sri Lanka Coast Guard ship Suraksha. India had earlier provided spare parts and similar assistance in 2021, 22 and 24. The visit includes professional interactions, joint exercises and sporting events, reinforcing India's neighbourhood first policy and maritime security cooperation under the Saga vision. Let's now take a look at other stories making news today. Pink City Jaipur in the western India state of Rajasthan is all set to dazzle as the host city for the Silver Jubilee celebration of the International Indian Film Academy Awards 2025 on March 8 and 9. From grand performances to unforgettable celebrations, visuals of the invitation box have been released. It weighs 7 kg and is adorned with Barmeri cloth and other unique factors from Rajasthani art. Preparations are underway in southern India's Kanchipuram to celebrate the festival of Masi Magham. The festival is celebrated in the Tamil month of Masi when the Makam Nakshatra or the Magh star aligns. Masi Magam is a time of devotion, purification and divine blessings, drawing together communities in faith and tradition. As the festival of colours Holi is round the corner, the demand of colours has also gone up. Many self-help groups in North India's Uttar Pradesh are engaged making herbal colours as they are non-toxic and chemical-free and also in huge demand ahead of Holi festival. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Stock indexes surge as Trump exempts automakers from tariffs. Euro hits 4-month high. Special Olympics, Bharat sends off 49-member contingent for World Winter Games 2025 in Turin. And the Rio Carnival 2025 ends amid vibrant and lively parade.
Goa, a food paradise, both steeped in historical culinary tradition and at the forefront of a modern-day food revolution that is fresher, more local and more global than ever before. I'm embarking on a journey across the state to explore the very best of food here.
This is honestly my favorite way to eat an egg.
Break bread with some of Goa's most loved chefs and understand what food really means to communities here. Watch Postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Stock indexes rose sharply after US President Donald Trump exempted automakers from his 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 1 month, while the US dollar fell against most currencies, and the euro hit its highest in 4 months. Stocks were volatile, near flat in early trading before turning sharply higher by the afternoon. The euro was on track for its best week since November 2022. The euro also gained against other currencies including the British pound, the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc. US Treasury yields climbed as investors assessed the latest US economic data while weighing developments on Trump's tariffs. Oil prices ended lower after US crude oil stockpiles posted a larger than expected build, adding to other headwinds. And the 3-day International Conference on Circular Economy Forum in Asia Pacific ended with the adoption of Jaipur Declaration on Wednesday. 38 countries and a galaxy of experts from the region took part in the event. A report by DD India's Vishal Barristo.
The 12th Regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum of the Asia Pacific region unanimously adopted the Jaipur Declaration. The region stands united in its efforts towards saving the earth by promoting circular economy, which is reduce, reuse and recycle.
Global Alliance C3, that is Cities Coalition for Circularity, has also been agreed upon. Now it gives me immense pleasure to announce adoption of Jaipur Decadal Declaration.
Japan has been a strong partner of India in promoting the circular economy in the region. The Vice Minister of Global Environment Japan, Yutaka Matsuzawa, lauded India's efforts in this regard and highlighted the importance of the Jaipur Declaration.
This forum will create the very good opportunity to strengthen the bilateral cooperation on 3R and circular economy, particularly in the proper waste management infrastructure in India.
India has been working in mission mode to protect the 3R economy. The Textile Ministry of India has been quite forthcoming in promoting the upcycle and recycle by promoting startups.
We have registered upcyclers, and these upcyclers, after getting registration from the Textiles Committee, are able to sell their products directly on GEM. In fact, I would also use this platform to request all upcyclers to register themselves with the Textile Committee so that we can promote them.
38 countries from the Asia Pacific took part in the conference.
After 3 days of deliberation, the Jaipur Declaration has been finally adopted, which would pave the way for the next 10 years in Asia-Pacific region. The 14-page document focuses on the participation of private sector along with knowledge sharing amongst member countries. With cameraman Gaurav Giri in Jaipur, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
All our sports updates now will start with cricket. In Champions Trophy, New Zealand cruised past South Africa by 50 runs in the second semi-final to set up title clash against India at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium on Sunday. New Zealand stormed into their 7th ICC final after posting a score of 362, which is the highest in Champions Trophy history. Rachin Ravindra scored his 5th ODI 100, while Kane Williamson racked up a 3rd consecutive century against South Africa. Kiwi skipper Mitchell Santner took 3 crucial wickets of South Africa's captain Temba Bavuma, Rassie van der Dusen and Hendrik Klaassen. The Kiwis will face a confident Indian team in the finals who have won all of their matches in the tournament, including the one against New Zealand in the group stage. Bangladesh's veteran wicketkeeper Mushfiqur Rahim announced his retirement from ODI cricket after his team's disappointing run in the Champions Trophy. Mushfiqur took to social media to announce his retirement and revealed that he made his decision after going through a tough couple of weeks. Mushfiqur, one of Bangladesh's longest-serving players, has finished his ODI career with a whopping 7,795 runs in 274 matches with 9 centuries and 49 50s. Mushfiqur ends his roller-coaster career in the format as Bangladesh's second highest run-getter behind Tamim Iqbal's record of 8,357 runs. Now, the Special Olympics Bharat on Wednesday organized a send-off ceremony for the 49-member contingent ready to represent India at the Special Olympics World Winter Games 2025 in Turin, Italy. The event was held at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. The ceremony was graced by India's Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia and President of the Special Olympics Bharat Malika Nadda.
For the Indian team competing in the Special Olympics World Winter Games was held in Delhi on Wednesday. The event was attended by Union Sports Minister of India Dr. Mansukh Mandavia and the President of Special Olympics Bharat Dr. Malika Nadda. The 49-member Indian team will compete in Turin, Italy from March 8 to March 15, 2025. The squad includes 30 athletes, 3 officials and 16 support staff, including coaches. Indian athletes will participate in 6 disciplines: alpine skiing, cross-country skiing, floorball, short speed skating, snowboarding and snowshoeing. India's Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia praised the special athletes, calling them a source of inspiration for all.
आप स्पेशल ओलंपिशियन हैं, लेकिन हमारे लिए आप स्पेशल हैं, क्योंकि ये काम बहुत कुछ सब लोग नहीं कर सकते जो आप कर रहे हैं. आप मेरे ऐसे एथलीट्स हैं जो चैलेंज को भी आपने चैलेंज करा है. आप ऐसी स्थिति में ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं, इस स्थिति में खेल रहे हैं. दोस्तों, मैं मानता हूं कि आप में से हमें जो प्रेरणा मिलती है, देशवासियों को जो प्रेरणा मिलती है, ये प्रेरणा और कोई जगह से नहीं मिल सकती.
President of the Special Olympics Bharat Dr. Malika Nadda expressed gratitude to the government of India for increasing the prize money for medal winners in the Special Olympics.
We are grateful and thankful to Government of India, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports for enhancing the cash award money of our special athletes from 5 lakhs to 20 lakhs for gold medals 14 lakhs for silver medal and 8 lakhs for bronze medal, which will be a great motivation not only for the athletes but also for the parents.
Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Union Sports Ministry has strengthened its support for athletes with intellectual disability. The government remains committed to providing them with the best facilities and opportunities. The Indian team now heads to Turin, determined to make the country proud on the global stage. Narayan Singh's report, DD India.
And the Entertainers Cricket League has begun with a match between Haryana Hunters and Rajasthan Rangers in Delhi. Social media influencers will compete for glory in the tournament, which will run till March 16. The matches will be broadcast live on Prasar Bharati's OTT platform Waves.
The social media influencers now have another platform to showcase their skills. They are ready to make splash on the cricket field. The second edition of the Entertainers Cricket League has kicked off with a match between Haryana Hunters and Rajasthan Rangers in Delhi. A total of 32 matches will be played between 8 teams, including the round-robin stage and then the playoff stage. The second phase of the tournament includes Qualifier 1, Eliminator, Qualifier 2, and Grand Finale. The league will run for the next 2 weeks. Bangalore Bashers, Chennai Smashers, Dynamic Delhi, Haryana Hunters, Kolkata Superstars, Lucknow Lions, Mumbai Disruptors, and Rajasthan Rangers will compete for glory. Cricket lovers will be able to watch the exciting matches live on Prasar Bharati's OTT platform Waves. Apart from Munawar Farooqi and Abhishek Malhan, many stars will be seen in the Entertainers Cricket League, which will make this league more exciting. Sushil Kumar's report for DD India.
And the Australian Sports Commission is exploring opportunities for sports cooperation with India, particularly in the context of India's bid for the 2036 Olympics and Australia's hosting of the 2032 Olympics in Brisbane. The Commission aims to support India's sports development by sharing knowledge and resources, including talent identification and training systems. DD India's Meghna Dev speaks to CEO of Australia's Sports Commission, Kieran Perkins, about various issues.
We are in Gujarat discussing the cooperation between Australia and India in terms of sports, and we are joined in by the CEO of the Australian Sports Commission, Kieran Perkins. Thank you so much for talking to us. We are discussing India's Olympic bid 2036. We are also discussing Brisbane 2032. We are also discussing more on the sports cooperation. What's on the table? What are you hearing from the panelists and other people from the Sports Authority?
Well, obviously, India and Australia have a long connected history of sport performance, and certainly we can't ignore cricket as being one of the cornerstones of our relationship. But with the Olympic and Paralympic Games possibilities, with Brisbane holding 32 and 36 being a potential for India, there's a lot of resources, a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of opportunity there where we can come together and really support each other to make sure that our games in Brisbane, but of course the potential games in India are very successful.
We also do see that there is a lot of scope in terms of training or bringing in not just the cooperation in terms of the cricket, but baseball, rugby and other sports. What's happening in that sector?
We are the government body that funds and supports the development of programs and delivery for participation right through to elite sport in Australia. And so for us to be able to see where the opportunities are in India, to help develop that broader sports system, to find more talent, to nurture that talent, then give it the opportunity to compete at the international level.
Mr. Perkins, we're also talking about sports financing here. We're talking about more infrastructure, more training structures. Where's the financing going to come from?
Look, I think the reality of the ambition with the projects and the work that needs to be done, there's probably going to be a mix of everything. You will find that there will be a lot of private opportunities, both for large investment firms, but also for companies themselves to develop and work together with political funding as well to find the way to balance the overall metrics out.
The minister here in Gujarat has also asked about more manufacturing that can be carried out here, maybe in terms of the merchandise or maybe more sports equipments. What has the Australian Sports Commission got to say on this?
Look, I think sports equipment is definitely one area to start, and that opportunity for manufacturing is a very important one.
CEO of the Australian Sports Commission speak to us on various factors, specifically the upcoming Olympics, maybe Brisbane 2032 or India's bid for the Olympics in 2036. With camera person Lakshman Rajput is Meghna Dev, 40D India from Gandhinagar, Gujarat.
And Rio de Janeiro has crowned Samba School Beija Flor as the 2025 Carnival champion. The vibrant parade, featuring colorful costumes and energetic performances, marked the culmination of weeks of preparation by Rio's Samba schools. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.